So we're live here, still in Ottawa. We're in our hotel room right now. Essentially, just providing an update. I know a lot of people are asking questions about what's going on right now. Where are things happening?
A
Are
lot of
people
people
still
asking for the
here?
live.
Yeah, like where's the live feed of what's going on? So essentially, the best update we can provide is that basically the police have gone like, extremely heavy. Their presence in downtown Ottawa and in what you might call the red zone is incredibly high. They're not letting anybody in, um, and there's nobody down there from what we understand.
Yeah,
And
it's
we've
been super cleared out. And I even, sorry to cut you off, but even this morning there was supposed to be a rally and there was a time, there was a location, and we got there right on time and it had already been cleared out. There was what we would say kind of looked like SWAT cars. They just had police, but they were like these big, black, intimidating tank looking cars.
very tactical.
And there was just a lot of, like what Joe was saying, a lot of police presence and no people left. So
Yeah.
we try to get down there, do some live for you guys, but it's gone. So
Yeah. So essentially, like, trucks were virtually all cleared out yesterday. Any remaining, like, vehicles that citizens had brought in, if they didn't remove them this morning, they're being towed away now. So that's kind of the situation. Is it's just a massive cleanup. The police have basically control over the vast majority of the area. So that's the situation, and most of the organizers, most of the people that have been around and supporting this thing, they've decided like, hey, like what's the point? At this point, we're just a punching bag for these police officers. Like like we can't even come close to the force that they have been brought.
especially peacefully.
Right, exactly.
Just standing
So
there saying we love you, and then they're like hitting us with their batons. It's impossible.
right. So it's at the point where people are leaving. I know that there's some, main influencers and people and organizers that are going home. We are sticking it out for portions of today just in case anything happens. But honestly, the feeling on the ground is that there's really not a whole lot that is going to happen or that can happen. The police are just way too powerful at this point. But a lot of people are wondering, hey, what does that mean then? Did they come and did they just win with force? There's lots of different ways to look at it, and the way we've been looking at it is that at the end of the day, the fact that this protest came, it remained peaceful, it remained civil, it was clean, it was clear for all the days that it was here. It had a very, very, very clear ask. And the ask was essentially, we want the mandates in all of Canada dropped, and we want to have a conversation with the government if you're willing to have a conversation. And this is not like other protests in a lot of ways where they don't have any specific ask. It was very, very clear from the beginning. So, the fact that the government said, no, we don't want to sit down with you guys. No, we don't care about anything you think, anything you feel. And the fact that names were called, the fact that, they basically use the media to make these people seem crazy, to make everybody that questions vaccines seem like a bad person. The fact that they did that, and then after all of that, sent in force, that's a victory, because now Canadians and the world can see that, this is ultimately what a tyrannical government does, and this is what it looks like. And a lot of people are shocked at the behavior of the Canadian government. People around the world, there's different politicians in other areas around the world that are in absolute shock that a Western country would treat its citizens this way. And that's a victory, because now more and more people, right? Politicians are never going to solve the problems that we have. I hope that's clear. For 13 years, we've held this position as a media company. And as, you could argue visionaries of having our own ideas of what we want the world to look like. Politicians will never be the answer. And this event indicated once again, and very clearly, that this was, that it does not matter how much you try and use the political process. It's not going to lead to a better world. What has to happen is that we need to come together as people, regain our power. There needs to be organization, there needs to be grassroots movements, and there needs to be solutions that are brought together as people. And this event indicated to more people that is the pathway forward. This event indicated to people that the politicians are corrupt, that the police forces are corrupt, that the media is corrupt. It's clear to everybody. And for a lot of people, it was already clear, right? So, we talk a lot about in our work how, there's always an underlying message that when you don't get caught up in the drama of what's happening and you kind of take a step back and you remain in your heart and you kind of just see what's going on, you can start to understand that there are other forces, other factors at play, that even though something doesn't look like a win, there's another piece to it that is going to ignite something within people that's going to continue to move things forward. And that's very much what we feel has happened here. That's how we're going to continue to cover this. For those that have been covering our live coverage and may not know a whole bunch about what we've been doing for the past 13 years, but we've been in independent media for a very long time. We were previously under a different brand that was completely shadow banned off of the internet pretty much. So we've started a new brand to continue doing this stuff. And we are active. We've been active for about 60 some odd days, FOIAing the Ontario government, so Freedom of Information Act requests to the Ontario government on a number of things related to COVID. We've been going after the federal government on a number of things related to COVID. We've gone after a number of documents from CSIS, from the federal government about how they've been talking about this particular issue. We're going to be going after the Ottawa Police with regards to how they've been discussing this issue. The Ottawa Police is actively lying right now.
Yeah.
They are actively lying to people about what is happening. And, independent journalists are going to make sure that comes out. And, the freedom of information is a powerful tool that, although they could lie and pretend that they don't have the documents, you got to use the process for the short term. For the time being, you might as well use the process. So we're going to continue that work. We're going to continue to push on that front. There's so many other aspects of our work that we do, and we're always working on continually talking about how we can move things forward. So we do a lot of solution-oriented stuff as well, and that's going to be worked into this entire discussion. But essentially, what we're dealing with is near-term and long-term solutions that need to come. Near-term is how can we utilize this event to pull out pieces of information, pieces of truths that help other citizens realize that we need to relinquish our power that we give to government, that we give to mainstream media. And in the long term, we need to talk about how it is not these systems that are going to lead us to a better world. It is new systems, and we need to come together and we need to have those discussions. And both of those near-term and long-term solutions can be happening simultaneously at the same time. And when we talk about near-term current affairs stuff, you can always have an underlying discussion there about how this plays into the longer term solutions that we need. So, we feel this approach is a way for us to both address the future and where we can go and how we can engage in action and meaningful action, but also address and acknowledge what is happening right now, what is happening in this moment, and bring a solution to that, because a lot of people are, arguably suffering, right? Depending on how you choose to look at that. But, it basically, you got to be able to address what's happening now. We can't always just look to the future. It's got to be mixed within what's going on. So that's the approach we take. That's what we're going to continue to do. We'll continue to update you about what happens. I know the organizers and a number of other people are working on various legal actions against the government. This has raised huge attention around the world and in Canada with powerful people. When I say powerful, I mean people who have the ability to put money and to put lawyers in, to go after the government for this sort of thing. So this is just the beginning. I think a lot of stuff is going to continue to happen, and we'll just we'll kind of pay attention. And but what it sounds like is that for a lot of what's been happening here in Ottawa, I don't want to say it's over, because it's not that. There may still be some demonstrations, we don't really know. But for the time being, for today, for tomorrow, I don't even think the police will allow anybody near, Parliament or any of these buildings. So
and it seems like, even like we were mentioning earlier, a lot of the main people that you've been seeing on the ground, the influencers, have all kind of said similar things to what we're saying. The last 48 hours were really intense, a lot more violent than what we're used to, and a lot of the people need time to process, retreat, and kind of regroup, both physically trying to figure out where they need to go next, and also kind of just process what's occurred the last 48 hours with all the violence and things that we weren't expecting in this manner. So, or at least not in that extent. So I think yeah, the next 24 to 48 hours is probably going to be very quiet, calm. A lot of people going live from their hotels or on the road again. kind of giving updates that way, but I don't think there's going to be much on the ground coverage for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so far we have not had any issues with bank accounts being frozen. We have not had any issues with anybody coming after us saying, hey, you were at the protest, we want to charge you with a crime. It's the police, obviously they look, right? They're looking for people, they're looking for influencers, they're looking for people that are, well, yeah, that too, but they're looking at people who are there and have been there and appear to like, hey, I am part of this convoy in a very obvious way, right? Like we as journalists have to both stand back and say, hey, we have to be objective here. But in our hearts of hearts, I mean, we're standing with this cause. We know that this cause, I mean, you can be a journalist and you can be objective, but you're a person, right? And we're never going to not acknowledge that we're people. We stand with this cause and we have enough ability, at least, this is how we feel about ourselves, is we have enough care, we have enough, commitment to the truth, we have enough commitment to honesty to, regardless how we feel about an issue, to remain objective where it matters in our work. And so, that's what we do. And we hope that, for any police that, they've been threatening, for people who don't know, they've been threatening that they're going to go after anybody who was at these protests, financial sanctions, maybe criminal charges, whatever it might be. They obviously have a ton of video footage of people. They're going to use facial recognition and so on and so forth. It is what it is. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. And if they were to go and actually take that type of action, I think it would be a huge mistake on their part to do that, and it would only work not in their favor. But I also think that they're just saying that because they're trying to posture, they're trying to look strong, they're trying to say that hey, we're powerful and get out of here and we won and la di da di da di da, and that's what ego does. That's what tyranny does. And love will go and regroup and unite and think outside the box and come up with a plan that will continue to move this forward. And we're just taking a different route is what appears to be happening. And so yeah, that's it. That's all. I mean,
thank you all. I'm just, because we didn't get through all the comments and questions, I do see a lot of thank yous, and thank you guys as well for staying tuned and also supporting us while we were here and continuing to support our work. I can speak for both of us. It means so much to us. It keeps us going, not only financially but energetically. It's been, especially the last couple of days, have been really difficult. So at least for me personally, I can say that your support is what keeps us going. And that's it. That's all.
Yep. And in terms of if you guys want to DM us with any questions, by all means do so. We're going to do our best to answer. We'll be in our room unless something starts to go down. We're going to be in our room just kind of catching up, getting some clips together, regrouping and figuring out what to do next for the rest of the day. So we'll try and answer as best we can. But yeah, thanks for being here and for supporting and everything over the last little while. It's been a pleasure to do this and to just be part of this in a big way. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Thanks so much, and we'll continue to have more updates as we go. Peace.